What are you so hot about? Welcome to $2 Steak, a professional wrestling podcast. I am your host, Aaron Varnum. Joining me today, as always, Big Mike.
Yep.
Tolbert.
Oh, yeah.
And on the road with Cookie, Maine.
On the road again. On the road again, boys.
He doesn't know the rest of the lyrics.
I don't know the rest of the lyrics. That's all I know. I only know the things that song, to be honest with you.
So, do you remember last week when he was like, yeah, that's like some old country, like, and he was like naming like people that were like 2 years ago? Like, that was his idea of country.
Yeah. Brad Paisley.
Yeah, come on. Brad Paisley's like still a current country singer.
That's as far as it goes, man. That's all I got.
Well, Cookie, this week I took a page out of your book and I popped a bubble. I went to a float pod for the first time in my entire life. After giving a brief survey to the rest of our crew and hearing Davenport say he had a panic attack, Mike enjoying it quite a bit, I was anxious as shit when I got to the place.
You were going to maybe drown.
Yeah, 100%. So there was this movie growing up called Altered States, and it's all about William Hurt he takes psychedelics and he does sensory deprivation tanks, right? And the more he does it throughout the movie, he starts devolving into this monster, right? So the entire time, it's an early 80s horror movie sort of thing. The entire time, I'm gonna turn into a monster.
Be a monster.
See, that's why you wouldn't do well, is because you think too much.
I did.
I told you have to be able to just shut your mind off.
And I did.
Be in the moment.
And I got into the pod. That water is very viscous. I want to tell you guys first that earlier in the day, I took a massive dump. Okay. And big dumps come big responsibilities. It tore a little bit of my beehole. And
there's a lot of salt in that water, buddy.
And when I got into that extra salty water, it felt like I was sitting on a fire. And for
a lot of information I just downloaded right there.
For about the first 15 minutes of the float, all I could think about was how much my beehole hurt.
Good thing they drain the pods in between
good thing
uses.
It's so like salty that you can't, like, no living organism can survive.
There was a $500 contamination fee, and I'm like, oh, I totally contaminated that water with my with whatever I just brought in there.
So, well, if you poop in it, there's a contamination.
Yeah. I'm not gonna shit in a pod.
They tell you up front, though, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, like,
wait, I just have a question about the whole thing.
Say what, Cookie?
It's like if you
Aaron, I just have a question.
Yes.
Most for Mike. Can you get COVID through a torn beehole? Is that possible?
What was that? I hope the audio picked that up. I really hope the audio picked that up. That was
somebody just drove by my house,
just yelling.
What just happened?
They just went down the whole street.
My house, hanging out the window, making a Leroy Jenkins down the block right there
on Harrison Avenue.
So can you So can you get COVID through your beehole?
I doubt it.
No, I don't think so. You get a lot of stuff through your beehole, but COVID's not one of them.
It's respiratory droplets. I don't think.
Okay.
Thank you, Cookie, for that inquiry into the pod stuff. Anyways, boys, how were your weeks? Mike, let's start with you.
That was good, I guess.
All right, Tolbert, next for you.
Very, very long work week, but it's coming to a close. I'm officially on vacation, boys. I clocked out at 6 o'clock, and yeah, it's time to party.
Can you explain to me? I've been noticing my brother has a fascination with Underberg.
Ooh,
Why?
Underberg.
What is up with Adrian's fascination with that?
All right. So times being we had to give up our liquor license at the bar.
Okay.
So we're like, what can we do to supplement? What can people shoot and drink to have a good time? I was like, hey man, Underbergs are good. I love them. I get them all the time at nicer bottle shops. They come in these little tiny paper wrap bottles. They're German. They've been around since the mid 1800s, pre-prohibition. It's drinkable bitters, right?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah. If anyone out there, if any hipsters out there are listening, it tastes kind of like Fernet, kind of like a Jaeger Light, if you will. Strong anise flavors. They come in these little tiny bottles.
So it's like a shot.
They're like 88 proof, but it's this little tiny shot. It's like a third of a shot.
Can you also tell me about the brand new Jello shots that you offer at your fine establishment?
Yeah, those are fun as well. Malt liquor Jello shots. They're pretty fun. So
the times we live in, 2020.
Come to Cape Fear and drink
Wow.
Jello shots and
To get around liquor laws, God, it's always about like trying to one up, and like that's a good way.
They're pretty good. They're actually pretty amazing. Try them. I don't know.
So what would you pair with an Underberg from your newfound food menu at Cape Fear Wine and Beer?
I like to personally, and this is something I do a lot, lemon lime Italian ice pop with an Underberg. It's fucking amazing, dude.
Wait, so what is you guys have a food menu now?
Yes, we do.
What is
on
on the food
a lot
menu?
of some sliders, a nice bisque,
Sliders?
maybe. I don't know. I don't know what's on there, man. Some Italian ice.
Are you cooking these sliders?
Yeah.
Microwaving?
Yeah, you microwave them.
Are they tasty? Or are they
So-
the White Castle ones?
So downtown's a little weird right now because of COVID. A lot of people have surrendered their liquor license in order to be open,
You have to.
to just stay alive in these times and keep Wilmington's made up of a lot of small business, and a lot of small business cannot be open right now. So people have had to take drastic measures to stay open.
It's like a private club too. That kind of
yeah.
has bitten the ass of North
And
Carolina government.
Every move small business makes, law enforcement and local government gets in the way of it and says, hey, you can't do that. But we keep coming up with ways to say, yeah, we can.
That's ingenuity right there.
Shove this Italian ice up your ass.
So we're just trucking right along, buddy. Drinking Underbergs, having Italian ice pops, and good times.
Cookie, how was your week?
Well, I didn't tear my beehole, so that's one.
Good.
I actually did come down to Wilmington.
Thanks for calling us.
Well, listen, that was the whole surprise. I was supposed to come in during this time, and I was just going to come in and interrupt you guys and just be like, just surprise you guys.
Well, surprise, your girlfriend has to work tomorrow. Thanks for thinking ahead, Cookie.
Can we just say I'm going to shout out all the teachers out there because teachers have it hard right now. Like she is stressed out to say the least with what's going on right now with the education system. But that's a whole nother topic, a whole nother can of worms. I was supposed to come in, and unfortunately I could not. But we still managed to do it. So hey, there's that. I tried one of those Jello shots, Tolbert.
Oh yeah,
When
you
I was
know what I'm
down
talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was like little strawberry. They come in like little Jello cups.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
Sounds terrible.
they are.
They were absolutely the same thing. I would never do it again.
2020.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten that out of the way, I want to discuss last week for a brief second. We're going to touch on that. You guys had an awesome episode without me. Me walking around on my mindfulness walk the entire time.
Forgot about that.
And not being in this living room at all.
No, you weren't here
At all.
Nope.
Zane ran the show.
Zane did an awesome job last week. In fact, I think Zane was on par with. I would put him above Tolbert, under Mike, and
Miles ahead of Cookie.
miles ahead of Cookie.
Oh,
One of these days, I'm going to take over the show. Okay, one of them, but not right now though.
I will say, Cookie, your second time was much better than your first time, but still needs a little polish.
Well, it's better. It was better than your commentary at quarantine. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well, it's because I couldn't talk because you were speaking over me the entire time.
I'm learning, okay? I'm a growing cookie, and you know what? In 2 days, I'll become 27. I'll get more time to grow, more wisdom. You know what I mean? So it's okay. I'm getting older.
Can you guys believe that that's been 6 months since the quarantine, like, commentary?
Not really.
Time is a flat circle right now. It is just
flew right by. It seems like that was just yesterday.
Anyways, Zane had a great episode last week. I loved Zane's picks. Even if they were, Tolbert had to watch something a little bit not PC, but still,
it was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable all the time. I'm still not convinced of his babyface turn because he gave me that match. I don't know. He's working on mental levels now, But
yeah. He's playing that long con on you right now. Anyway, so he did great last week. This week, it has been a tough week for professional wrestling. The Road Warriors, one of my favorite tag teams in all of professional wrestling. Animal passed away. And I know, as a child, I remember going on vacation before I was really into professional wrestling and seeing a arcade tower of WrestleFest. And I remember walking by and seeing these two monsters, video game monsters with shoulder pads with spikes on, and they're yelling at the screen. And I'm like, I have to play this video game. And then when I start
promo at the beginning of the intro,
yes,
where Animal's pointing at you,
and
he's going his mouth is moving, and the script comes.
That's what I'm talking about. That's amazing. What I saw, and that was such an alluring thing for a child to see these two monsters be as powerful and as crazy as they have been. And then, through the years, they may not have had the best run in WWF towards the later years, but looking back at their career before that, they changed the professional wrestling world.
Oh, for sure. If you showed anybody a picture of them, you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly who they are.
And that looks like the prototypical professional wrestler, like two huge dudes with face paint and shoulder pads with spikes on them. It's such a cool
mohawk with the split mohawk.
Yes. They are just two awesome dudes. So I was really kind of taken aback by the passing away of Animal this week. I know that Mike, you may not have grown up around watching the Legion of Doom or the Road Warriors, but you did see the Dark Side of the Ring and got to learn a little bit of history of them. From a standpoint now, do you kind of understand the importance that they played in professional wrestling?
Well, that whole Vice documentary kind of helped paint that picture, and then you can see how fondly Animal talked about Hawk, particularly his change after the crazy shit he was doing, and how he kind of found Jesus and all that sort of stuff. And then he died years ago, and then sad to see that Animal passed away, just 60 years old.
And you were probably more familiar with Animal's son.
Oh yeah,
who was an amazing linebacker for Ohio State.
All-American Ohio State, yeah.
So that did they ever cut to him during football games and they're like, he's the son of Animal?
Yeah, I mean, so it was kind of one of those interesting anecdotes that they would always mention on the national broadcast, and then everybody kind of knew. But I mean, I don't know. Props to him, I guess.
Well, thanks.
If you got a sack, no one ever went oh, what a rush.
Not quite. No, I don't ever remember that happening.
Cookie, what were your memories? I know you weren't really around for the early part of their career or the mid part. You were around for the kind of crappy LOD 2000 part. What do you remember of the Road Warriors?
I vividly remember the New Age Outlaws having their battles with the Road Warriors. And I'm talking about, I saw a couple of matches with Hawk. I saw a lot with draws, and I was turned off by all of that. But I did get the chance to see Hawk and Animal drop the titles to the New Age Outlaws. Dude, I thought they were the coolest. They were the coolest guys, the coolest villains. But the New Age Outlaws, I mean, they beat them. So I don't know. I was more impressed with the New Age Outlaws because they beat the guys that I thought looked like they were going to beat their asses. So
I got you. I'm rolling my eyes, but anyway,
he's rolling his eyes.
I know how it sounds, but I grew to love them as I've watched more Japanese wrestling.
We're supposed to be putting over the Road Warriors.
Yeah, this is not put over the New Age Outlaws.
You asked me. That's what I remember.
Folks, he is turning 27 this week, so don't let his what is it? Naivety? Naivete? I don't know the word.
Don't worry, I'm gonna put him over in my
section. That word.
Naiveness?
Is that even a word? I don't think that's a word.
Naivety? I don't know.
Let's ask. Hey, Cookie, can you ask your teacher of a girlfriend in the car with you?
How would you
Naivete?
say?
That's it. Naivete.
Naivety?
You're gonna need a dictionary, boys.
But keep your eyes on the road, please. 10-2, Diane. 10-2.
She's anyway. About I would say 11-3 right now.
I think that's acceptable. Anyway, okay. So the Road Warriors were a pivotal part of my childhood, being fans of professional wrestling. And I know, Tolbert, you got to experience them.
Oh, dude, for sure. Like, my brother was usually Animal when we played tag team wrestling.
I loved, and I think that was kind of like a thing. My first, old school wrestling T-shirt when I became, a smark was an old school vintage Road Warriors T-shirt that I got off of eBay for $20. It probably is going for 200 now, but I wore the shit out of it, and it's holes. I cut the arms off of it because I got fat and wanted to look tough. I wanted to look tough. So, anyways, let's talk about some Road Warriors matchups.
Let's fast forward to the end of the wrestling.
Okay.
All right. So I will say the commentary is Curt Hennig's dad and then another guy.
Right.
Remember who it was?
I didn't know. I had no idea.
Well, props to the other guy because he's putting over how bad the Axe.
Yeah, Larry.
Yeah. The grandfather's son is getting his ass beat. And the Axe not great on commentary. He's just kind of like,
well, he's a father watching his son get his ass beat.
Yeah, but there was no emotion in his commentary. Even when Kurt's getting his ass beat, he's just like, oh, I know he's not going to give up, and I wish he would get out of that. Literally that monotone. He's not putting it over as well as he could.
Right.
With the emotion and that sort of thing.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, let's fast forward to the end of the wrestling. Somehow Curt Hennig finds himself in a hangman spot.
Very, very, very cool hangman spot.
Yeah, it was a great hangman spot, helped by the fact that these ropes are loose.
Yes.
At one point, I think when Baron von Raschke gets in early in the match, he kind of lifts it up over his head.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was very.
You can tell these are probably real ropes.
All right, but so the issue is Curt is now in this hangman spot, and the Road Warriors are about to beat his ass. And Raschke comes in. He's an illegal man, so he starts fighting, and that causes Hawk to come in and start beating up, and all chaos breaks loose. What is his first name? The Axe guy?
Larry
Hennig, who was on commentary, jumps up, realizes there's a commentary table between him and the ring, so he has to casually go around it.
Right.
Grabs a chair, gets in the ring, and starts hitting dudes with it. The Road Warriors then grab said chair, hit Curt in the head with it. Curt blades in front of everybody.
Literally in front of everybody.
Props to Hawk for trying to get over there and cover it back up, cover up what Curt was doing.
Trying to hide it behind a chair.
Yeah. And, crowd's eating this up.
Yeah, explain how the crowd was feeling throughout. This was a hot angle.
I was curious if Curt might have been from Chicago or at least this area because
he was kind of billed as AWA's if you were thinking of a Japanese promotion, he was kind of the ace of AWA at the time.
And at the time, the Road Warriors are doing this kind of nomad thing where they're just going everywhere, just beating everybody's ass, right?
Correct.
So they're still doing almost like that territory kind of stuff.
Yes. So they were going. What they would do is they would go to a territory, and it's really neat how the Road Warriors did this. They had the foresight with Precious Paul Ellering as their legit manager They would go to a territory, work a month or two, kind of get a really hot thing going, and they knew when to leave. They knew that, like, if these guys were going to be somewhere long term, nobody could beat these guys. So what were you going to do to keep people interested in these characters? So they would go to another territory, do the same thing. But then it was like a special attraction. Whenever the Road Warriors were to come, people would pay their money. People would cheer. People would see these two massive dudes come and just blow everything out of the water.
Yeah. And by the way, massive. So Hawk is not the biggest, but he's cut up. Animal is ginormous, especially in 1985.
So they were saying that he had like a flat back bench of like 550.
I mean, and he was on that good because like I don't think that's natural. Like this man, I don't know how to describe how giant he is, other than the fact that he's literally like built with rocks and boulders and just.
It's that. So the story of the Road Warriors is kind of funny. They were just two bouncers that were kind of discovered by like Rick Rude and all those guys. And they're like, hey, come try it out. They ended up being these two great attractions in what are you laughing at?
It's like if me and Lentz, like Josh, our doorman.
No, it is nothing like you and Lentz.
No, exact opposite. But I'm just imagining the story in my head.
Tolbert's like in his head's all swollen, jacked.
The size we were. That's how it would go.
So
it's like all those like Homer's daydreams in The Simpsons,
exactly,
where he's got like a David statue of David body.
Anyway, back to the chaos that is ensuing. The crowd is getting hot when they see their babyface, their number one, just getting destroyed. He's bleeding. He's gushing. They call the match. As the Road Warriors are leaving, a full-on riot breaks out.
Now, you are not underselling this at all, because this was a legit riot.
No, the camera it was a delayed pan over to the Road Warriors when they realized something was happening, and then you see, I believe it's Animal. No, I think it was Hawk. Like deck somebody from the crowd.
And you see somebody throw a chair at them.
Yeah. And then so they get out of there, and then we get cut back to the ring. There's people starting to jump into the ring, cut back to where the Road Warriors were, and some kids yelling at a cop about probably telling them how much the Road Warriors suck and they deserve it, and how they're the bad ones. Dude, they like this was like. I would have loved to seen the era when like
this was
kayfabe heat was heat, like legit stab you heat.
And you know, you hear all sorts of podcasts like Jim Cornette talking about it or Arn Anderson talking about it. Like, these people, maybe not the most educated in the world, but these people would die for their heroes almost. They would pull a knife on one of these wrestlers. They would do whatever they had because these wrestlers were their heroes. It's pretty neat thinking about that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all in all, I mean, the wrestling was okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Commentary was okay. I mean, it was an okay. It painted a better picture of what the Road Warriors were,
right,
and what they would become, more than it was like, you know, a great match or anything.
Tell me about the promo afterwards.
It was a classic '80s promo,
right?
And then what? How did he word it, Aaron? What did Hawk say? Why are you so hot? When he was talking,
Larry.
When he's talking about Larry getting in the ring and causing a commotion.
Yeah.
And then Animal politely describes exactly why they did what they did and how they had to, because
politely he's screaming the whole time. But
yeah. But ultimately it's, why are you sad?
Would you, like, if you were a kid watching this sort of thing, would you kind of like,
probably, yeah,
you would be interested in this sort of thing? Yeah, I mean, it's very
I'm an adult 40 years later. I'm interested.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty cool. All right, so we talked about early Road Warriors. Mike, tell me about social media this week.
Social media. Oh, I was gonna make a terrible joke just there. It came to my head, and
Somebody cut wind.
No,
it's
Tolbert's weed.
It's Tolbert's weed. I smell it. I'm like, oh God, why are you so smelly?
It's really smelly.
All right. I'm sorry. Back to social media.
I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. So social media, we as a collective group suck. My gimmick is slowly rotting away.
Okay.
Because neither three of us have done anything this week.
I did a little bit this week.
Yeah, he's been floating.
I've been floating this
chilling.
week.
You've been
Yeah.
fishing,
So
I've been
what
surfing.
I did was I posted a Instagram of the previously deleted Tolbert picture.
It's a controversial picture.
It's gonna haunt me forever.
So I'm saying, how Tolbert is stuck in the couch and not posting.
That was when he took his back got out of whack and he couldn't move. Remember?
Yeah. And then I also posted a picture of Aaron Varnum holding up a beer. It says, "Aaron Varnum, I wipe my own ass."
I do.
And that
For
was
the record, I have not been on the couch at all this week, man. I've been working.
hasn't been on Instagram either.
No, I haven't been on anything.
Well, one day when we get our shit together, please follow us at @$2steak_ on Twitter and Instagram, because eventually we may actually post something interesting.
You do know that we posted some stuff the days of Animal passing away. That was about it, though.
You posted something
I
like that.
posted something.
Travis did hastily edit a picture of Cody Rhodes in with the
Who were the brothers? That terrible emo band.
Charlotte.
Lifestyles of the rich and
Good Charlotte.
famous. Yeah, Good Charlotte.
But yeah, other than that, it just kind of is what it is.
I've been waves this week, bro. I've been surfing. Man.
Mike, you do know that every
Bashing at
week
the
there
beach.
is a actual social media update, and you are required to talk about social media, and yet you don't do social media.
I talked about it.
Not the only one.
You're not the only one. Cookie just is now on video portion of the thing. Cookie.
70 Highway 74.
All I'm saying is, if I need to be inspired, right?
Okay.
So nothing has really been inspiring me much
All
lately.
right, we will work.
I'm
to inspire you.
downtrodden and being ground to a pulp, much like you. Maybe I'll go on a little
hiatus.
mindfulness
All right.
journey.
We will.
And-
It was a good one. I walked around the neighborhood. I got to smell the smells, look at the sights, hear the sounds, and come back to Zane.
The sounds of Sunset Park.
Whatever that was. Guy probably scored some drugs. Anyways, thank you, Mike, for that. And let's move on to our next segment. All right, for the strong style Cookie, I gave you something a little different this week. Maybe not your traditional strong style match because it has 4 Gaijin in it, but it does have 2 of our all-time favorite professional wrestlers, and it automatically gets 5 stars because it has our 1 Terry Funk in it, and the sex machine known as Dory Funk against the Road Warriors. Cookie, tell me about your match.
Well, Aaron, just to backtrack a little bit first, I just want to put myself over real quick and just say that I posted something for the social media. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
I did use Travis's art to do that. Travis did a phenomenal job of what do we call that? A smart?
Yes.
Smart? Yes. So I did post something. I'm trying, Mike, and I apologize. I will work harder to post more stuff. And I'll fill in for Tolbert, since I think Tolbert, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
We will give you credentials to get into the Instagram as well.
I'm on a spiritual journey, Cookie.
Okay. Anyway, back to the action. So Road Warriors versus the Funks. First off, there's just utter silence to start the stream. Aaron, I know I'm not going to start bitching.
Did you not?
I won't
I
call
said
you
it
out.
in the link.
You did. You said it in the link. You said it's a copyright issue. I'll let it slide. I'm not going to do that. But then that famous guitar riff hits, and then the drums kick in, and you see the face paint, the spike vest, shoulder pads. Animal and Hawk were in a league of their own when it comes to their creativity, man. See, this is where I'm putting over the Road Warriors.
Thank you.
I absolutely love them. I am so sad to see the animal pass away because, I mean, you see it today where Retribution is trying to do something like that.
Yeah.
Ascension tried to do something like Road Warriors. You know what I mean?
There's a lot of imitators, but nobody can reach that level, you know?
Never, especially for the 80s. I mean, Mike was talking about, I mean, these are some big, beefy, meaty men. Triple balls. But, I mean, these guys are fucking huge. And I didn't even mention the Mohawks. I mean, they had so many different gimmicks that they put together and they just all gelled well. And what you have is just a legendary tag team, man. One of the best to ever do it. Man, yeah, just one of the best. But let's get to the countdown.
Cookie, you're going to have to count your own numbers, but I will lead you in because I cannot see what you're doing. So Cookie's top 4, number 1.
Thank you. Okay, so we get, typical start of the match where they're just trying to figure each other out. Hawk gets tagged in very early, and Dory, the sex machine, Dory Funk gets tagged in. Dory gets what you think is the upper hand at first, and then he just starts throwing a sharp forearm and then tags in his brother, and they hit a nice little double forearm tag maneuver. Terry Funk selling his ass off. He also hits his Texas pile driver. But this boy Hawk, he just rolls out of it and just pops up. He no-sells the damn thing.
Right.
And then he just ever so gently, did you guys notice how he just rubbed his head?
Yes.
Like, is that the best you got?
He patted his head and was like, he's fine. And Mike mentioned how big his neck was. And of course, the pile driver would not hurt anybody with a neck that big.
Traps for days, man.
Dude, do traps on top of traps.
His traps look like somebody else's quads.
It looked like they cut his skin open and put rocks like underneath his skin. Like that's how big this motherfucker is. And then, like I say, just gently rubbing his head. And I laughed so hard at that. I knew Hawk and Animal, like they're just a different breed as soon as I saw that. Some bad men.
Did you laugh?
And then Hawk gives Terry a pile driver. Oh, I laughed my ass off. Are you kidding me?
Terry's sell of his pile driver, amazing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Terry gets the pile driver, tries to pop up, and he's just dazed, and he's just like holding on to the ropes as hard as he can, trying not to fall. I love this selling. And then Dory just tags himself in. And just,
Dory tags him right after. Yeah.
He's just like, get out of here. Like, I got this from here on out, man. So good. The storytelling, amazing. But let's go to number 2.
Number 2.
Aaron, are you going to say it?
Yeah, number 2.
There we go. Terry to the top rope. All right, it's never a successful feat when Terry Funk goes to the top rope, much like Ric Flair. The end result is going to be ugly. And it's nothing new. Hawk blocks the Terry splash and then uses his beefy, meaty arms to put Terry in a bear hug. But he, like, drapes him on the top rope, and then Animal just comes out of nowhere and takes Terry Funk's head off.
Right.
Aaron, how do you feel watching the Funks just get destroyed by Hawk and Animal?
I love the Funk Brothers, and I think I love the Funk Brothers so much is because their selling is so much fun to watch. Terry is such an interesting seller in professional wrestling, so I loved watching them get their ass kicked.
Absolutely. I mean, and they're not the most athletic, too, the Funks I'm talking about.
Right.
But they try, and that's what I love, and the selling I love as well.
They try.
Dory's drop kicks, like, he drops kicks them both over the top rope, but, like, it's not that athletic, but it's very effective is what I can see. He's trying very hard to get that 300-pound body off that canvas.
Did you hear, Cookie, the Japanese audience ate up everything that Dory did throughout the match.
Dory drip in Japan. You can't touch it.
You hear there is one fan in particular that you can hear on the audience microphone saying, Dory! Every time Dory gets into the ring, like this person loves Dory Funk.
And if he's a sex symbol in Japan, then I wonder how the hell, where did Kenny Omega come from and how is he won now?
We don't know.
It's probably one of Dory's like long down the line illegitimate children. because he had many in Japan probably. Because
I'm sure it was Dory Fuck in Japan, not Dory Funk.
Tolbert, do you think that Dory Funk had many of concubine down in Japan?
A few. Maybe. I think he went. Yeah, I don't think he had to pay for it, man. He definitely didn't have to pay for it. He just got it.
Hey, I believe it. Especially, we need to send that picture out again of the sex machine Dory Funk on that Japanese magazine cover.
Oh,
He's
chef's
just like-
kiss.
He's like, you want to go to Rivera?
It melts your heart.
Get a steak?
I can get you a Yokozuna for half off.
Yeah, girl.
But let's get to number 3, Aaron.
Number 3.
Now, I will say the original Doomsday device, which is what you see in my match, is not that pretty. It's effective, yes, but it's not as enticing or as captivating as the one that they do in the later 90s and stuff like that. You know, you're putting your opponent on your shoulders and then you're flipping them upside down. Like the move that they adopted later on looks so much better. This one was like more of like a bear hug and a clothesline combination. That's my only gripe with this match. It's the only thing, but I still love that move, the Doomsday device. That's why it made my top 4.
I think you may have the only Doomsday device in all 3 matches this week.
Oh, did Mike not have one?
No,
no.
Mike, there was none.
It ain't my match.
I don't know if they even had it by then.
No, I don't think they had it by Mike's.
Well, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lead into the honorable mentions. Now, God bless Terry Funk.
God bless him.
He takes an Irish whip early in the match, flips all the way over the top rope, and then starts doing like a breaststroke on the top rope. Funniest stuff I've ever seen, man. Aaron, where do you think Terry Funk comes up with these ideas?
I just want to talk to him one day and just ask.
Aaron, we're going to get you Terry Funk for Christmas, hopefully. Or if not,
like a real live Terry Funk?
Yeah. It's going to be a Terry Funk sex doll for you. That's what it's going to be.
It's going to be like Christmas Vacation and you're going to deliver him with a bow in his head?
Absolutely. And he's going to come with his face painted in ICP makeup.
Oh, I love those boys.
And then the second thing I want to talk about in the honorable mentions, man, is the physiques of the Warriors compared to the normal bodies of the Funks. It's laughable. Like, these dudes had, like I said, biceps on biceps, triceps on triceps, and I'm pretty sure his trap muscles are just as big as Aaron's head.
Yes.
No offense, Aaron.
I've got a big head.
But you got a big-ass head just like they got big-ass biceps and all the muscleness.
I definitely have a big head, so I agree.
I can't like Mike said, I can't put over how big these motherfuckers were for the 80s. Like whatever they were taking was the good stuff. It had to be the good shit. But I digress. Let's go to number 4.
Number 4.
All hell breaks loose. That's all I have to say, Aaron. You legit other chaos happens at the very end of this match. Hawk picks up a table like it's a tree branch, and then he tries to bash the Funks over the head with the fucking a 20-foot table. And then Terry gets hit with these unfoldable auditorium chairs. It legit turns into like a food fight, but instead of food, the Funks are throwing chairs and other debris. I saw
think Dory was throwing anything. I think Dory was kind of laying low, but
I
Terry
think Dory
was.
made me get a number in the background.
Oh, okay.
That maybe I don't know, but somehow the Warriors get the win. Sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off, Aaron. I apologize about that. Were you gonna say something else?
No, I've completely done.
Oh well. Anyway, the Funks start throwing chairs. They're throwing everything. Somehow the Warriors get the win. I don't know how, and I'm starting to realize that a lot of the Funk matches end up in DQs, countouts, basically anything but a pinfall victory.
That's right, because the Funks are the greatest of all time.
Yeah, they don't lose. You know what? I really want to know their record because I feel like it's going to be something like, 2-0 and 46, but the 46 being disqualifications or something crazy like that. I don't know how many matches they've had. I'm just throwing it out there. It's just a random number. But anyway, just a phenomenal match. It ends in other chaos, just like I like it. Tables being thrown everywhere. Chairs, there's like at least 10 of them being thrown. The match gets 4 Oh, at least 10. At least. I don't know. Did you count more than that?
I did not. I just saw Terry threw an entire row of chairs. He kept going chair to chair to chair to chair, throwing them all. It was phenomenal.
Did you notice that people were literally getting up right before he was about to throw the chairs?
Yes.
Just the time. It was ridiculous, but that's just the mystique of Terry Funk. And much like Terry Funk, you get a mystique of the Road Warriors. And I love the combination of these two. We had a match earlier in the year where Hawk fought Terry Funk, I believe, in a high school gym.
Yeah.
And the same shit happened at the very end where they just started throwing fucking tables and chairs everywhere.
Yeah.
Phenomenal match. 4.5 cookies. I loved it. Great match.
Time for the high spot.
The smelly high spot.
Tolbert, you have got Legion of Doom against DOA. I don't know if they have the moniker of Legion of Doom. Maybe they're Legion of Doom 2000 at this point, but tell me about your match.
1998.
Well, they still call themselves Legion LOD 2000.
Looking towards the future.
That's right.
Yeah, I got the short end of the stick when it came to the the Road Warriors match.
I don't know.
But it's proper high spot material.
I could not find really a lot of high spot material.
I giggled. I had a good time watching it.
Okay.
Y'all should watch it and enjoy it because it's good. Because we start off with Legion of Doom's tag team partner. This is because this is a 6-man tag, so it's 3-on-3. We start off with Puke, cutting a little promo.
Darren Drozdoff.
Yeah, doing what he does best. He pukes.
He's gonna puke.
So he's talking to who's on interviewing
it's
him?
Kevin Kelly. He's the current English voice on New Japan, and he's also he was on Ring of Honor for a long time as well.
So he's interviewing Puke. I don't know if they were calling him Puke at this moment, but he's still going with it.
They definitely did throughout the match.
Okay.
They called him Puke.
So he could tell he's working it up. He's making himself gag the whole time.
Thinking of it.
And so the person interviewing, he's gagging as well. Like they're both gagging, right? Well, Puke does his little pukey thing and he pukes on him. Oh, we got some fireworks going off.
What
is going on in Sunset Park right now? What is going on?
I can't tell you.
Don't they know we record on Sundays? They should know. They should know. Anyway, so Puke's puking, man. He's puking all over him. And in enters Hawk and Animal.
Right.
And Hawk is like, oh, look, he puked on your shoes.
I think he says, oh, that smells. That smells. Ah.
So, it's just comical, man. It is great. And they're a little older now, but they still have their size. They still look amazing. And we are in the back alley of the loading dock to the entrance to the stadium. And this is it's a Chicago street fight.
Right.
Are we actually in Chicago?
We'll say that we are.
Yeah, we're in Chicago. Fuck it. We're in Chicago.
Right.
It's a Chicago street fight. And you can see all the props laid out, for the battle about to ensue. And they're cutting a little promo. And then Aaron comes, a member of DOA, on his motorcycle down the ramp. Just, he's like, fuck it. Let's fuck these boys up. So that's what they do. They started battling. And then the rest of the members of DOA come out of nowhere. It was a plain ambush. And we just have a little back and forth of all the props, all the trash cans, all the metal poles, everything you can think of. I mean, they're going back and forth, just bashing each other.
Do you remember any of the names of the people, the disciples of the apocalypse?
I do, but they all escape me.
There was Chains.
Okay.
There was Skull. And there was also
Skull. I definitely remember Skull.
An 8-ball.
Skull and 8-ball. Yeah. Those are great. Classic Street Fighter names. And
I will say they're a lot better than the Retribution names this week.
You don't like T-Bar?
T-Bar and Slapjack.
You think 8-ball had that name for a reason?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was coked up out of his mind.
I have to say the members of DOA are huge as well. I mean, they match the Road Warriors in size and girth.
Yeah, they are big boys. A lot of them coming from like Smoky Mountain Wrestling and like all over.
But guess who's not as big as everyone else? Puke.
Well, Puke was a former professional football player.
Yeah. And he's got some physique. He's just not as big, and he definitely takes the brunt of some of the shots taken. And I have to say, for a little street fight, cutscene, whatever, some of these shots are stiff, man, and they're like actually it actually looks good.
Yeah,
for what it is.
You failed to mention Cookie's favorite racist was also along for the rise.
Sturgis bartender
passing out COVID.
Sonny, probably more. Sonny's probably passing out more than COVID at this point.
And she's screaming the whole time this is going on.
I will say this was a good period for Sonny. She was looking kind of hot.
Didn't look too bad. Like I said, like a Sturgis bartender.
Yeah.
Yeah, just chaos. They're whacking each other. Sonny's screaming and running around. I do think it's funny how you could see the cops and the flashing lights at the top of the ramp. Like
they're making sure that nothing gets too disorderly.
Yeah, crazy. It's a street fight, but you got to have order. It's a sanctioned event. Yeah, so they go to bash and they're all taking hits. There's some stiff shots with trash cans, poles, fist, everything. And like I said, it looks good.
A lot of metal clanging.
Yeah, a lot of fully staged sounds going on. So we get to a spot where I noticed my match was very short this week. It was only 5 minutes, so it's getting about to the 4 minute mark. All right, it's about to wrap up. Puke has a member of DOA at the top of the ramp, and here comes this shadowy figure down the ramp. We're like, who is it? Who could it be? We all know it's a fucking Undertaker. We can see him as soon as he gets to the top of the ramp. But
they never fully explain.
Well. Yeah,
you can tell by how slow he's walking down an entrance ramp that it's the Undertaker.
Undertaker gets about midway down, takes the member of DOA off Puke's hands, throws him in an equipment cart.
Right.
That proceeds to roll down the entranceway
and almost take out a cameraman.
It is.
That's how I cut my Achilles tendon. A cart like that.
Ooh, it's
boom, straight across.
Sharp metal edges.
Very dangerous. Those things.
Props to the cameraman. Never loses a footing. Into the cable guy. Whoever's watching his cable. They back up and they get that shot. They got the whole shot in. Undertaker proceeds to rampage and just beat everyone's asses and just does what he does, man. Comes in and clears out a ring.
That's all you got.
And that's it.
That's 5
that's
minutes of just pure chaos.
Yeah, and then we go back to our regularly scheduled Monday Night Raw. Yeah, Chicago, hell of a city.
All right, so Tolbert, give me your DOA Road Warriors HighKu.
Puke had some deep dish. Hey, look out for that puddle. Pretty sure that's Puke.
So, well, that was a very vomit-infused HighKu this week. That's going to wrap it up for this week's episode of $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Folks, we've said it all this week. The Road Warriors, we're going to miss them. And Cookie, let's hope that you guys get home safely so that your girlfriend can educate our future.
I appreciate you, and thank you for having me as always, Aaron.
Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.